North-South Connection, welcome to the most extreme menage a trois of violence you'll ever experience here on the Extreme Three-Way Dance, as you can hear and see. I'm JT, joined by Jenny and Suze. How you guys doing?
Hello.
Good. Does that mean okay, never mind. I won't go with that question, but I'm good. How are you guys?
Doing well,
Uh,
ready to get extreme as
Mhm,
always.
Extreme
mhm.
as always. I'm always extreme.
Yeah. So listen, if you're listening on our Podbean feed or any other podcatcher app, northsouthconnection.com, we are also doing this on video. So just go to YouTube, search North South Connection, and subscribe. And I would say we got 4 or 5 of our shows right now do video as well as audio. There's also
Mhm.
going to be bonus stuff on video as well. So be sure to check that out. Here on this show, we're going through the history of ECW. We started in February 1994. We are almost through 1997. As a matter of fact, I think we only got a few more episodes left of the calendar year. We'll be into 1998. And like I was mentioning to Jenny the other day, Matt, we'll be over halfway through
Yeah.
the run, right? Because we'll have 4 calendar years down. It really is just 3 left because 01 is when they die. But I don't
Yeah.
know if there's even any shows. And I think it's a couple maybe in 01. But
Yeah, it's like 1 or 2 at the most.
yeah, it's not much. So the bulk will be end of 2000 for ECW. So we are
That's wild.
progressing rapidly through the history of Extreme. So tonight we're going to cover 4 weeks of television as we're really starting the home run ramp up to November to Remember. Of course, November to Remember is a pretty seminal show for ECW. I think we've had one every year, Jenny, since we've been doing the show. There was definitely one I think
Mhm.
it was even one in '93 that we
We didn't
yeah, we
watch.
didn't do. So,
No.
but we've done one every year. But this will be the first one on pay-per-view, so they're going to really try and amp it up.
Mm-hmm.
As they should.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
They have some, some shows under their belt now, and I think they're getting a better feel about how to book these, and
Yeah.
it shows in these episodes.
Well, the one thing that stands out to me, and I'm curious if it's going to continue at November to Remember, is using the non-arena crowd for these
Mm.
pay-per-views. Is it going to start to matter, like affect it at all? Because I don't, for what was the one we just did? WrestlePalooza? No, what was the one that was the pay-per-view?
Hardcore Evan.
Hardcore.
Hardcore.
That crowd in Florida, while it may have been good, I don't know if it's the miking or it's just not the same. Like it's just
Mhm.
the aura wasn't there for that show, right? So I'm a
Right.
little curious about Pittsburgh, how that's going to carry. I mean, it is close to Philly, so you figure, it's close enough. I know it's not super close, but it's close enough to where they should get some travel
Right.
to there. But outside so far of Queens or ECW Arena, like we haven't had maybe the Greyhound and outside Boston.
Obviously.
Yeah, we may have,
Yes.
but we haven't had like any real super.
Webster.
Yeah, we haven't had any super hot crowds like that. So I'm curious if that's gonna continue to like kind of weigh on us with these pay-per-view events. But anyway, all right, let's go ahead. October 18th, 1997. We opened with a sad note. It is the tribute to Brian Pillman, who had passed away. I think at this point it had been probably a week or so earlier. Right? I think Bad Blood was October 5th, so I think it's when he died.
Yeah,
So,
it was earlier in the month for sure.
so it took them a couple weeks to put it up on here. I'm guessing just because the other stuff was already canned and sent to the studios
Mhm.
for syndication. So on this episode we start. It's muted too, so I thought that was kind of a neat way to do it.
Mhm.
Like you can just see the images, and they showed like full clips of him doing stuff, but it's all no sound at all. So I didn't know if it was like a Peacock edit, if they had some music over it, or if it was just done that way.
Mhm.
If it was done that way, I thought it was a pretty cool editorial choice. I thought it made it more poignant in a way that it was like he had been silenced finally. It was kind of how I took it, right?
Right. Yeah.
I could see Polly doing it that way because it is
Yeah.
it's striking watching it like that, and just being reminded of all of those amazing things that he did in ECW. The pencil,
Mm-hmm.
the
It
chef.
was across like 4 episodes too. Like
Right.
he wasn't even
Yeah,
there
it
that
was
long, but it
very
was so much
short.
good stuff.
That's the thing. It's like it made me wish he was there for longer. You think of some of the other stuff he could have done if he was healthy. Like if he could have a match or something, I think it would have been
Right.
great.
Yeah.
Mhm.
For sure. So obviously they found him in his hotel room the day of Bad Blood, 97, and we all know how that goes. So he's been someone we've covered a lot across, these shows, right? We've covered him in great depth on Wrestling Warzone, Chad and I. Now that's every other Mondays here. He was a big part of ECW, and he showed up so far for us to do it, but then he got hurt. So he's been a part there, and he'll be a part for us for a while on that show. But in this one too, we hit on him. So he's kind of been a constant during this era that we've been covering. on our show. So we get our opening animation from that. Then we go to Joey and the Nest. He sets up the night ahead and basically says the goal tonight is to sell us on ECW and the hardcore wrestling resurgence, because we're going to get highlights from September 20th, As Good as It Gets, which is now available on home video. So he promises this was such an amazing night that you're going to fall in love with ECW, basically. They're going to sell us on how great ECW is just by showing us highlights of this show. We get a full clip of Taz confronting the Pitbulls, who returned to help Lance Wright, and then he destroyed Wright after getting restrained and attacking a security officer. Taz is in the back. He says he isn't a company man, but Gary Wolf is wrong that he's friendless, because he has one friend that he can trust. And on June 7th, he made a friend for life, the television title. And it means more than any belt in the business today, more than Shane Douglas's belt, because it's a TV-driven industry, and he's the best wrestler on TV today. He'll drive the industry through the roof. He's going to drive Wolf back to the hospital and back into a halo, because what Shane Douglas did to him was nothing compared to what Taz will do. Pitbull 2 used to be able to talk to himself, but now Wolf talks for him. They lost all their juice. And if they want to try Taz and talk about him and play with him and call him a paper champion, he is far from that. If they are disciplined enough to stay out of the joint, buckle up and face Taz at the same time, he'll show them. And they can even put Wright in the ring too. He'll take him on 3-on-1 because he is Taz, the ECW TV champion. Jenny, what did you think of this promo from Taz and the direction here we're going with the Pitbulls?
I thought it was really good. He says he's not friendless, and I'm like, I don't know who the fuck he thinks he's talking about.
Right?
The belt is my friend. Oh, okay. We're going to do that. It was really good. You think Shane Douglas hurt you? Like, that was good. Like, I enjoyed that a lot. And because, look, Shane fucked him up. So you gotta be real fucked up to get worse than what Shane did.
Right.
And then the challenge, I challenged 3 of yous, all 3 of yous in the ring, including Lance Wright. So I don't know. This was fun stuff, Matt.
Yeah, I like this a lot. I thought it was really well done. Taz saying that the TV title means more than the world title because it was a TV-driven industry. I thought it was a really great line. And look, he's kind of not lying about the Pitbulls. At one point, he says the Pitbulls lost all their juice. I mean, he's kind of not wrong. The Pitbulls haven't done shit in months. So, I mean, he's
I don't
not
think they've
really...
even been around. I mean, I think they were gone. I think they get brought back for this.
Yeah, obviously, they were partying with Vince, as they said before. So
that's where they've been this whole time.
Right.
They've been
camping out in the pool. Yeah, but great stuff from Taz as always. Please, for the love of God, I know I say this every episode, just kill Lance Wright. Get him out of here. I'm ready for it. Just choke.
It's a good way. It's a good use of the Pitbulls. I mean, whether they're doing a little penance, I don't know what they did wrong. Digging around a little bit, I think they were. I don't want to say ECW didn't allow bad influences, but from what I've heard, they were just kind of notoriously doing some stupid shit. So,
oh, really?
Yeah, I don't know if they just didn't want them around or what, but we'll see where it goes. We get clips of Shane Douglas and Tommy Dreamer from September 11th at Terry Funk's WrestleFest. We see Douglas battering Tommy's knee, uses a chair to wear it down. Douglas goes to figure 4. We get 2 minutes left in the match on the time limit as Francine and Beulah get involved. So the figure 4 gets broken. Tommy rolls up Shane for a close 2. Shane takes the knee back out, goes up top, but Beulah distracts him. Tommy slams him off. He gets into a flurry, gets 2 on a bulldog. He goes for the DDT, but Francine breaks it up, triggers a cat fight with Beulah. Tommy pulls Francine off and sets the DDT, but Shane takes out his knee. Shane grabs Beulah and slams her hard to the mat by the hair. The announcer warns the crowd not to throw anything in the ring as Shane hits the belly to belly. Tommy rolls Shane up for a close 2 count and then hits a DVD for 2. Tommy hits a belly to belly for 2 as Shane will not go down. Tommy hits the DDT, but Francine jumps on him, so Tommy loads her up and stuffs her with a pile driver. Shane then grabs Tommy, and they throw bombs at each other until Shane hits a belly to belly to retain his title. We only got a few minutes of the match, but it was pretty hot what we saw. It was a good closing stretch. The crowd was really rocking, and you could tell they were kind of going all out for a special show, especially Tommy with how much funk meant to him. So you could tell they wanted to put on a really good outing on this night. Our buddy Rocco Martone told me that this was really a ECW heavy show. So obviously we didn't cover it in full on here, but if anyone's kind of trekking through this stretch of ECW and tracks it down, I guess is a really heavy ECW presence on that show. It was almost presented that way. So Matt, what did you think? I didn't grade it because we didn't really see much. It was more highlights, but I thought it was pretty entertaining.
Yeah, I thought what we saw of this was a ton of fun, just super fun stuff. I didn't rate it either because, like you said, we only saw a few minutes of it. But Shane just kicking out of everything Dreamer was throwing at him, just really putting over Shane strong. I thought was really well done. The pile driver to Francine was disgusting. I thought that was really brutal. But yeah, just a super fun segment here. And yeah, that show is very ECW heavy. I think Foley wrestles Sabu on it. I think. And I'm pretty sure, as a matter of fact, we're covering this on a new episode of YouTube Roulette coming out soon. It's Rob Van Dam versus Dory Funk Jr., which is ridiculous. So, yeah, that match is something. So, yeah, this was a ton of fun. Jenny?
My thought, they're doing all this shit in Texas to these women in the crowd, because I was trying to like kind of gauge how this was going over with Texans, but I mean it's where the Funks are from, I guess, something like that. So,
well, yeah, Terry's
they got to be
is where they had the
yeah,
show.
they got to be used to maybe that. I don't know.
Yeah.
I guess I expected like a little bit of a cooler response. I was really surprised at how in the crowd seemed on it. But yeah, the belly to belly on Beulah was fucking that was rough. Mm-hmm. But then Fran gets the softest pile driver ever. So
Tommy took care of her.
Yeah, he did. You can tell. Fun match, and I love the booze at the finish.
Mm-hmm. And of course, Matt, I hope you're covering Dennis Stamp on that.
Oh, yeah. We mentioned him many a time.
Okay, very good. Shane and Francina backstage. Shane hypes up his girl, says he's the only one who gets her or can say, and says he isn't a giving kind of guy. So he's still willing to pimp her out, I guess. He's the only one who gets her or gets to say who else gets her, basically.
Oh, okay.
If anyone else gets her, it's because he allows it.
Right.
Rick Rude's going to bang her because he says he can. Mm-hmm. Joey's in the nest. He says we should listen to that again, and then talks about how Shane can pimp her out to any willing John like Rick Rude, who gets serviced by Francine to provide services to Shane to shop her the franchise, including bringing in challengers like Al Snow, Axel Rotten, and Phil LaFawn. Shane has defeated them all, and Joey wonders who will challenge Shane next. We get highlights of Dreamer and Beulah versus Rob Van Dam and Fonzie. Of course, we talked about that.
5-star match.
Joey's in the nest talking about Sandman and Mikey and the beating he took at Sandman's hands. Mikey joins Joey, and Paul's ranting about a camera. Mikey says that RVD and Sabu are talking about the WWF and WCW and attacking Tommy, but he feels like he wants to finish his career in ECW, and he's happy here. He's not afraid of any of them, and anytime they want to fight, Mikey will give him a fight. Joey says we're going to see a whole new whipwreck as Mikey's stepping up. Jenny, how did you feel about the return of Mikey to TV here and making a statement?
Well, I had a very calm demeanor because I thought this was going to be like a replay show, like a clip show. Wasn't really expecting too much. And then fucking Mikey comes in being adorable as fuck. And he's, playing like his old Mikey stuff. And then he turns his head around and then he gets real serious, Mikey. And I was losing it. And I'm just so ready. I'm so ready for it. Like,
well, he needs to do something. So it looks like he's doing something finally, because we've seen him in spatters, but I would say it's been over a year since he's done anything of substance. Like, has it been?
He definitely hasn't cut a promo in
I was gonna say, I don't think I've heard him cut a promo since I joined this show.
No,
I don't think he's done much since Foley left in April of '96. I mean, I think it's been over a year since he's done anything of substance. It's either been random matches or he comes in and gets hurt and leaves again. So when was the Paul Lauria stuff? Was that after Foley? That might have been the last thing. Matt, were you here for that? When he fought his old partner?
That sounds familiar, yeah.
That might have been the last thing of any substance. But since then, they kind of throw him out there for random trial matches, but nothing else. So.
Yeah, that team with Spike
type.
Yeah, team with Spike for a week and a half.
Right.
Yeah, that was good too, but I just assume he's traveling or doing.
I think he was banged up too. Yeah. I think he might have been hurt, and I know he was doing a lot of the training too. I think he was running the ECW training school or whatever, or he had his own training school, something like that. So he might have been doing some of that too while he was recovering and shit. But I don't know.
It's so exciting, and I just, it was so good to hear from him and see him. I'm just ready for more.
Yeah, long overdue for sure.
All right, we get clips from October 1st where Sandman was working over Dreamer while smoking a cigarette. I should say October 1st, 1994, that is. And that led to the cigarette going in Sandman's eyes. We saw a woman get involved. Dreamer caned him while he writhed in pain. Tommy then shows more clips of the ensuing angle, and then from him and Raven's final match at WrestlePalooza, his issues with Lawler, and a warning to Sabu and RVD. So this is kind of like just showing that Tommy's been through a ton of shit, and this is just another thing he's going to take care of in ECW. So, again, to your point, Jenny, it's a heavy clip show, so we're even getting classic stuff thrown in here. Speaking of classic stuff, this next scene was what some would call an instant classic. And that means it is time for our Italian word of the week. To get us rolling, tonight's word, Il budello di Tuma.
Dear God.
Say it again.
I'm going to need you to say that again.
You sure? It is Il budello di Tuma.
One more time. You broke up.
Really, technically 5 words. Il budello di Tuma.
Il budello di Tuma?
Il budello di Tuma.
Your mother's a whore.
Well,
Oh my God.
I thought it was something.
We worked so hard for that.
Yeah. I thought it was going to be something about ears, and now you're calling my mother a whore.
Budello de Tuma.
I guess I should have seen it coming on.
I've never been more offended.
All right. This is fantastic, though. So the FBI are with us. They're at a pizza place. Little Guido's making a pizza pie, while Tommy Rich and Tracy Smothers are talking about being real Italians. Guido explains what the mozzarella cheese is, and they all argue some more, while Guido tells Smothers to spin the dough like him. He's spinning the dough. Smothers tries. It lands on his head. Rich is mad because he's bitching that he's hungry. And he says, I'm going to call it a real pizza place. You're not going to call Domino's. So he gets to call Domino's. Guido grabs a phone like any good Italian would, throws it in the cooler. We're not calling Domino's. Smothers stops and says, we aren't tipping them angrily because they don't want to pay Domino's and pay the tip. And he's like so angry about it. I thought this was fantastic. I thought it was, they got the shtick down. The timing is down. Guido just trying to be like the true Italian and teach these jamokes how to be Italian. And they just are being a Southern Italian. They're the Olive Garden to his, authentic Italian cuisine right now.
Right.
Trying to teach them the right ways of the motherland. But it was really fun. I thought this was great. This really spoke to me.
Yeah.
JT's little Guido. I guess
You're Tommy Rich for sure.
I was kind of trying to take Smothers.
Well, you're Southern. I mean, it's right there.
Well, I guess Smothers is too, but I think Rich is more Southern.
He's
right?
Well, and I do like Domino's, so I could see me saying, "Fuck this, I'm too hangry."
Yeah. Tommy Rich was hangry.
Yeah, the best part was Rich saying, "Give me that mozzarella."
The mozzarella.
And they were really tussling in there too. Like part of.
Yeah.
Like,
it was a tight little, kind of tiny little counter. It's like
Yeah.
there's not a lot of room. They're squeezed in there. It was
Pushing
really
each
funny.
other. Yeah,
I wonder
that was
if
hilarious.
that was in South Philly. I'm sure it was something nearby, but it was really
Joey's face coming out of that
Yeah.
too. I lost it.
we just needed some gabagool to really make it pop. But, yeah, no, Joey also being a Paisan makes it hit as well, because it's like he's the only other one really, I think, in the company. So he's like always offended by everything they're doing. The only thing we didn't get was Smothers doing the thumb that he does.
Right.
We get some finger licking later, I think.
Oh, God. All right, we get clips of Balls Mahoney and Axel Rotten, or as we call him here, Rotten Balls, beating on the FBI. Guido's foot was on the rope, so the match gets restarted, and the FBI won. Axel and Balls beat the shit out of referee Jeff Jones for botching the call and running his mouth about it after. Joey then recaps what we saw and said because of that win, the FBI are now the new #1 contenders to take on the Gangstanators this Saturday night for the tag team titles. So FBI in line for title shot. We'll see where that goes.
Out of nowhere, I guess. I
Yeah.
don't know.
Maybe that's who they call.
They got one win, and then
That's it. They're in line.
Rocket.
No.
Well, we've talked about it. The tag division has definitely been a little weird lately.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're trying to you can tell they're trying to rebuild it a bit.
They need help.
Sure.
We get clips of the Gangstanators fighting the Dudleys and winning the titles. And I'll tell you this, I'm curious, like, when does the Dudley dominance begin? Because I keep thinking it's starting, and they haven't really, and it's a weak division, and they keep not really winning the belts back. So I know at some point they become like the premier team.
Well, Gertner's really holding them back, I feel like.
You think so?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Joey hypes November to remember. It's a month away. It's already the 5th one, like we said. It's the biggest show of the year. We're live from Pittsburgh. And Joey says to get a dish if your cable company won't carry it. You need to see ECW live if you can. We get an ECW highlight video. Wraps us up. So let's get to our awards. We only saw one part of one match, and that was Dreamer Douglas. So I guess technically best match.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
by default.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Best moment I thought was the end of Douglas Dreamer with all the fighting and all that was good.
I don't know, the whole pizza thing.
Oh,
that whole
I'm
thing.
not gonna do that. Yeah,
Yeah.
pizza party. Stock rising. Oh, and most 90s, I should say. I had this Funk's WrestleFest. What's the idea?
Yeah.
90s.
Loving Dominoes is also very 90s.
Yeah. I guess. Maybe the old Dominoes. Like it should have like referenced the Noid or whatever. Or was that 80s?
Right.
I think that was 80s.
That was more 80s.
Could be both.
90s was 10 minutes or less or whatever it was, right? 30 minutes less.
Yeah, the heat bags and whatever the hell they call them. The heat wave bags. I don't know.
Oh.
You knew what I meant.
Fucking heat bag.
Stock rising. I went Taz, Douglas, and the FBI.
Mm-hmm.
Rotten ball. No.
They didn't do much.
No, the balls are dropping, I think.
Big Dick is no longer erect.
Yeah.
Stock falling, I guess, with the Pitbulls. I think they're kind of being made to look like stooges. And
Yeah.
I don't know if it's like a payback thing or they kind of let them back in. Just like we've seen this a little bit with ECW. We saw with Paul Varlins and others, right? Like they bring them in and then treat them like shit, just to like use them to get all the guys over.
Right.
So it feels a little bit.
I don't hate that.
Well, yeah, it feels a little bit like it's headed that way. Like, yeah, we'll give you a few paydays, but you're gonna get your shit embarrassed, by Taz.
And I mean, they're established too, so whoever beats the shit out of them is gonna look pretty good. So
right. All right, final grade. I went 6 out of 10. I mean, it was a clip show, but we got some new stuff. We got to see the WrestleFest stuff. The FBI thing was awesome. The Mikey's promo, and even the clips. It was still like a fun show to watch. It's as usual with ECW. It takes a lot for ECW to put on a bad show.
Well, with Mikey's return and the Paisans, I gotta go 7.
I went 6 on it, like you, JT.
Okay. All right, let's fast forward a week. We go to October 25th. Jim Price's 17th birthday. We are live in Queens. Joey's in the ring. Wild crowd. He even has to pause and just kind of admire the madness.
I love that. I love Joey just standing there, just soaking it in, looking around. I had a whole moment.
Well, we're rapidly seeing that Queens is like number 2. I mean, it's gonna actually become a little bit of a turf war. I think. Like we'll start seeing signs of like a little friendly rivalry between the Queens crowd and the Philly crowd. It's like where the real ECW hardcore fans are. So.
I love that.
Yeah, so it's kind of cool. So it's good. We found like a B, Studio B for them, right? That we haven't had yet. So.
I'm ashamed it's not the Greyhound Park, but
I think it would be if it was a little bigger. I think Greyhound Park's just not big enough.
Yeah, if it didn't look like a shithole, I'm sure it'd be great.
I mean, if it wasn't a concourse,
right?
It's not even a
this
place.
Fucking hotel lobby.
Yeah, it's
not even a place. He says.
Joey brings out Douglas and Francine. She is just busting out of this dress that she's got on tonight.
Sure is.
She is like feeling herself here in late '97.
Rude
was like maybe it was a rude awakening for her. I feel like she's really been feeling herself since
well,
she had the night with Rick.
When bearded ass Rick Rude comes out, I'm like, okay, I can see it. I can see how she has blossomed into her full friendom.
They parade around. Douglas yanks the mic from Joey, tells the fans to F off, says they weren't with him before. Don't be with me now. Shane bags on the fans and talks up being a champion. He brings out Rick Rude to introduce his next challenger. The crowd is all over Rude. He has to keep pausing. He can't even get through his intro. The crowd chants, "You fuck China." That breaks Douglas. Douglas loses it. It even Rude a little bit. And Rude says, "Yeah, I've had a lot of pussy in China, Singapore, Korea, and all over the world," which is a great line.
Best.
That was really good. Rude says Shane paid him, and Shane says he paid with a woman that's better than a river and hotter than hell, wetter than a river and hotter than hell. Rude calls the fans dickless derelict. Rude says he showed Fran what he used to show his opponents. As the night goes longer, Rude gets stronger. The crowd chants she's got herpes. Then they ask to see her tits. The fans are just off the charts right here.
They're
Francine
insane.
teases taking her top off, instead just flips off the fans. They chant silicone. Douglas tells him to shut the fuck up so he can hear Rude. Rude calls them brainless buffoons. He says he's the only man in the sport who can go wherever he wants, whenever he wants, and that being a free agent. And Shane wanted Rude to push him to the limit and reach his peak. And he has just a guy who ran Rush Out of the WWF. And Shane says, oh, it's going to be the boy toy. He's all pumped up that he's going to get Shawn Michaels tonight. And Rude says, no, because it's a guy who also ran through WCW, Japan, Asia, and Europe. And he's no boy, and he's no toy, and he needs no introduction, because it's Bam Bam Bigelow. Walking through the streets of Asbury, right into Queens. Candido and Tammy come out. Tammy Sitch, who's here for some reason. Sonny, they're begging Bigelow to stop, but he throws Candido down. Bigelow shoves down Shane as well. Shane begs off Candido. Tammy and Francine beg him to stop, and he doesn't back off. So we get a red-hot opening segment into our opening animation. I want to talk about the surprise of Bigelow, but I want to save it for after the match. So just talk about the promo itself, Jenny. Like, what do you think of that? And then I want to talk about the ramifications and what it was in a minute.
So my brain sort of cut out a little bit when I saw Rick Rude. And then I didn't listen to anything that he said. And then I just listened to the crowd chant, she's got herpes and show your tits. And I thought Francine was fantastic through all of that abuse. And Shane's face when he says Bigelow is pretty much says it all. Like, I was
sold
shocked.
it so well.
Yes.
Yeah, it was it was, oh my God, not
huge.
this. Yeah.
And I was like, okay. And then I try to jump ahead to go like, well, where are they going with this? And are we breaking up the triple threat already? That seems weird. So really, I was just massively confused and aroused.
Yeah, definitely more questions than answers during this segment. I thought this was fantastic. The crowd was insane, just all the chants and everything. I mean, probably as heated as the ECW arena, like maybe if not more so, just how incredible they were, just chanting, you fuck China and all this stuff. I thought it was great. I thought Rude was fantastic during all this. Shane doing a great job just selling the shock of Bam Bam, presumably turning on him. I thought was really well done. And yeah, this was a fantastic segment.
Well, it's a good tease too, because you're wondering, okay, is he turning on him, or is it like he's getting the shot and Rude told him, play it up, like, we're training him, right? We're training your boy, so go out there and push him to the limit. And that's what Bigelow was doing. Or was he like, well, yeah, this is my chance. I'm going all out. Screw you, Shane. So I think it was still a little gray as the match was starting, like what this was going to be. So let's get into it. Bam Bigelow taking on Shane Douglas for the ECW World Title. Bigelow doesn't back down. He comes firing with some big right hands and a headbutt, chucks him through the air. Joey talks up Bigelow's accolades and how he's always hyped as a future champion. Bammer mashes the champ with a chokeslam as Shane begs away. Joey says Rude has broken up the triple threat yet again. Of course, you remember earlier in the year he did it with Brian Lee. Douglas comes firing back, but Bigelow ducks and unloads some more. Then military presses Shane, crotches him on the top rope, and he tumbles to the floor. Bigelow press slams Shane again, this time throws him to the floor. Bigelow pulls Shane up the hard way and stomps away on him. Shane is a mess. He's trying to regroup in the corner as Candido barks at Rude. Douglas comes out of the corner with a hard clothesline, drop kick for 2. Shane headbutts low and kicks away. Douglas gets an impressive vertical suplex, but Bigelow rolls on top for a 2 count. Shane kicks low. He gets some woos as Shane claws away. Bigelow shrugs off his chops, steps up to Douglas, and snaps him down with a rude awakening. He covers, but gets up at 2. It's an epidemic in ECW, picking guys up at 2. I'll never get it. It's been years. Scorpio started it in 95, and it's been ever since. Guys love to pick dudes up. Bigelow hits a falling headbutt. He heads up top, but misses a headbutt. Douglas tries a belly to belly, but Bigelow counters for DDT, then mashes Douglas with a powerbomb to win the ECW World Title. Huge pop in an awesome moment. The crowd is going crazy. Bigelow finally wins the big one in his career, pays off Rude's angle of trying to get guys to challenge Douglas. Rude rubs it in. He announces the new champion. Douglas is shook. Look, this is basically a squash, but it was super hot, and it put over Bigelow looking like a monster. He looked unbeatable in this match. It was awesome. I went 3 stars. I was shocked. I did not remember this at all. I had no memory of Bigelow winning, and I thought the triple threat lasted a lot longer. I was surprised they actually broke it up as soon as they did. If it's broken up, I don't know, is it going to go stay together somehow, or is Bigelow turned and that's it, and now they're gone forever. So we'll see how it plays out. I like the payoff to the story too, that Rude kept putting guys in front of him, and one finally paid off. So Rude took his woman, for a night, and now took his belt away. So at the end of the day, Rude joined with Douglas, right, after turning on ECW to go to WWF. Then he takes his woman, takes the money, and he said at the beginning of the year his goal was to fuck with the franchise. So was this also part of his plan? Like he tricked Rude into thinking he was helping him, but it was really just to screw with him and cost him the belt. So like that's another layer in this. And they also did what no other company has done so far outside of maybe Japan, New Japan, and that's to make Bigelow look like a monster. He had just moments in WWF and WCW, but he's never looked like this, where he was like a dominant ass-kicking beast on the par. Like this was like a Vader Sting style match, right? Where he just like destroyed him and took his belt as a big dude. So I went 3 stars. I thought it was an awesome complete package. I think it was a really cool moment. Caught me off guard completely, Matt. What'd you think of everything?
Yeah, so I'm right there with you. I went 3 1/4 on this. I did know this was coming, but I did not remember it being this much of a squash. I mean, Shane got 0 offense in. I mean, it was basically just a 6.5 minute beating from Bam Bam, and I thought it was really well done. That power bomb he hits him with at the end to win the title was sick. There was one part where Bam Bam hit the Rude Awakening on Shane. I thought that was a really nice touch, and yeah, this was just great. The crowd was insane for it. It's a great unexpected moment. I will say it does feel a little bit strange that they're taking the title off of Shane this quickly. I mean, he had just won it in August, but I mean, I guess maybe they could play off the fact that Shane was caught off guard by Bam Bam being the guy. So, I mean, I can see it makes sense. So
I feel like in ECW, it's like they've done once the guys are established, it's like kind of like, I don't think this hurts Shane at all. Like, I mean, everyone knows he's a franchise and he finds a way and he'll always be in the mix. I think what they're doing with Taz and what Shane did too with the TV title, I think they use these guys to get the title over and then they can potato it a bit. Like once they have that elite run to make the belt mean something, then they use it as like, okay, now it's a storytelling.
Right. But yeah, just a really fun squash. Hell of a way to kick off this show. So 3 1/4 for me, Jenny.
Yeah, I mean, it blew me away. I'll save my rating, but the press slam onto the top rope, and then he falls onto the apron and then onto the floor. Shane does. That looked so painful. Just his bumping is amazing. And what I thought that when Bigelow missed the headbutt, I was like, okay, this is going to be where Shane comes back and puts him down. That was not the case. And I was super shocked for that amazing power bomb that won the match. And I stood up, I yelled, I couldn't believe it. It's amazing. All the layers from Rude and Candido and Rude and Francine, and it was a Vader type performance from Bam Bam. It's fascinating, and the crowd's reaction was to it as well. For the entire thing, the Shane and Francine reaction for the loss, for me, ties it in for the whole thing, opening, match, and closing. I did 4 stars.
Yeah, I can see it.
Yep.
Yeah.
I can see it for sure. It's such a well-told story. And I love Candido just like freaking out as he's watching like everything he loves. Like he loves the triple threat more than anything. And he's like seeing it all fall apart in front of him and like begging Bigelow, don't do it. I mean, like it's selfish and not selfish at the same time, right? Like he's being a little selfish because this is the thing he loves. He doesn't want to see it fall apart, but he's also being unselfish because I think he really doesn't want to see like Shane lose the belt, and he knows they can still dominate and all this other stuff. So it was I thought it was cool. I thought it was, the whole thing just worked well. And I'm glad they did it there. Like, if it wasn't going to be the arena in Queens was a good spot because that crowd was rabid. So,
yep.
All right, we go right back to the ring as Mikey Whipwreck is taking on Sabu. Mikey heads to the ring as Joey's on the nest. He talks about Rude breaking up the triple threat yet again. Bigelow winning his first ever world title. He also runs down tonight's card. Sabu gets in the ring. We're ready to go. Mikey goes to the leg, tries a single crab. Sabu gets the ropes. Sabu recovers. He takes the leg and stomps away. Sabu cranks on the leg as we ease in. Mikey comes back and grabs the arm, but Sabu cracks him with a knee, hits a springboard body block for 2. Sabu stomps away, but Mikey hits a Rana. Fonzie slips the chair into Sabu and smacks Mikey with it. Sabu puts Mikey up top, and it's a triple jump rope Rana for 2. We get a clip of Sabu throwing fire at Sandman, reminding us he's been out since that. We go back to the action. Sabu hits a springboard dive into Mikey in the crowd, sets up a table bridge and puts Mikey on it. He tries a springboard, but Mikey throws a chair at his face. Now Mikey goes up top. Sabu meets him. Mikey bulldogs him down for 2. Mikey keeps bringing the heat, grabs another near fall, gets a Frank and Mikey off the top for 2. Mikey misses a moonsault. Sabu hits a triple jump moonsault for 2. Sabu goes up top. Mikey catches him with some punches. RVD breaks out, but Mikey bulldogs him off the apron through the table bridge. Sabu barrels into both guys with a moonsault off the middle rope. Mikey tries to get back in, but RVD hooks his leg. Sabu hits a springboard knee to the head and wins the match. I thought Mikey hung in well here and showed up. It took RVD to help Sabu win, so that made Mikey look good. I thought Sabu was a little off tonight. Yeah, he missed. His timing was a little bit off. He was botching more than usual, and it didn't seem like the good botches that kind of make the match good. Like it kind of almost took me out a little bit. But he still stands tall. It was a good brawl. It was good to see Mikey evolved at a high level angle again. Like even if he's not in this angle, just being part of the Sabu RVD thing makes it feel more important. So I went 2 3/4, Jenny. I thought, again, I don't think it was like the best of these guys that we'd see, but it was good.
It was good to see Mikey wrestling again. Sabu in his highlighter green pants,
Yes.
pretty snazzy. And so I what I took from this is that Sabu was just gonna do sort of keep it a little bit. I don't want to say mat based because that sounds stupid when it comes to Sabu, but keep it off the ropes and shit. Like he could beat Mikey without all of his usual shit.
Right.
So that's kind of what he started with, and then that didn't really work out for him. And then he starts flying around. Then they start setting up tables, and but Mikey just gets a lot of abuse, like he typically does, with his occasional good bulldogs, which he gets a couple of in this match. They set up the table, they don't use it. The crowd starts chanting, "Use the table." Come on now. We can't have that. You got to let them work up to that. Don't tell them when to use the table. I did not enjoy that at all. The crowd was just edging. Like it got a little ahead of itself. It insisted upon itself. So I thought that RVD coming out to have to help him was good for Mikey. Hate to see him fucking lose another match, but I was not surprised. Mikey Whipwreck was robbed. I agree with Joey Styles, but I went 3 1/4 stars, Matt.
Yeah, I went 3 on it. We've definitely seen better out of these guys. This was still good, but I want to say there was like a random match they had in '96 that we all went like 4 stars on it. That was really well done. So it was still good, but we've definitely seen better. I almost wonder if Sabu looking off had to do with the ringside area being so damn small at the Elks.
Maybe.
He couldn't really fly around like he normally does. I wonder if that had something to do with it. But yeah, I thought this was the beginning was a lot slower than I thought it was going to be. But I think once it got going pretty well. RVD coming out, having to help Sabu beat Mikey, I thought was a good win, good spot for Mikey. It helps Mikey out. The slop ass bulldog through the table, I thought was something. My notes, by the way, don't say bulldog; they say bulldong, which I don't think is what I meant.
Well, that's something else.
I mean, that's
another show. That's another extreme content.
That's on the Jeffy position.
That's a different move altogether. But definitely a good match, but we've seen better. So 3 stars from me.
All right, Joey plugs November to Remember from Pittsburgh. Recaps what we've seen tonight. And that brings us to our next match, which is a pretty interesting one, is Just Incredible. It's back to take on Great Sasuke, who makes his ECW return. Haven't seen him in a minute since earlier this year. Pretty cool match in Queens. It's actually Sasuke's first ECW singles match as well. It's first time again since Barely Legal. Loud Sasuke chant from the crowd. Big spot for Credible and Jason as they get rolling here. The crowd floods the ring with streamers. Sasuke sticks and moves as Credible tries to guard. We get an Aldo chant as Sasuke cranks a side headlock. Credible twists into a head scissors. They grind on the mat. Joey says this will be a major story in Japan tomorrow. They trade off control holds into Sasuke working the leg. We reset. Credible grabs a side headlock. He runs through Sasuke, but Sasuke tosses him around, follows off with hard kicks. Credible kicks away, but tosses a crotch chop and buries Sasuke with a seated drop kick. Credible hits a swinging DDT for 2, works the arm. We get a Justin asshole chant, which is pretty funny. Justin Credible gets 2 on a clothesline, hits a top rope Rana for 2. Sasuke battles back and puts Credible on top, but Credible rakes the eyes and gets a sunset flip powerbomb for 2. Sasuke gets a cross body block off the middle rope, hits a standing moonsault for a near fall. Credible blocks a pile driver with a backdrop. Sasuke meets him with a drop kick, knocks him to the floor, barrels into him with a space flying tiger drop to a huge pop. It's just crazy he's doing this shit in Queens on this show in 1997, but there you go. Back in the ring, Sasuke slams Credible, but Jason kicks Sasuke off the top rope. Credible scoops Sasuke up. It is a jumping tombstone for the upset win. Again, the second time tonight, I did not see this coming at all.
Right?
I did not see Justin Credible pinning Great Sasuke clean in the middle of the ring. It's a monster win to kick off this push. I mean, end of 97, Justin Credible super pushes on, apparently. I actually thought the match was a little boring until the last 2 minutes, and it really started to heat up at the end. I'm going to say it. Sasuke's ECW stuff and his WWF stuff has not been super impressive to me. Like, I think earlier in the year, I liked most of the other Kainte guys better than him for the Michinoku Brew Group. And when he was in WWF, I thought Taka outshined him in those matches as well. So maybe it's just, for whatever reason, it was a little bit off. And maybe it's time. But I don't know. He was doing cool shit back then that I've seen now. But I remember thinking that in 97 as well in the WWF, that Taka kind of outshined him. So he's still great, I know it, but I just haven't seen it in any of this content. So I think Credible was fine. It wasn't on him, this match, to me. It was a big time win. So I went 3 stars, Matt. It's a big moment for Credible, but I wouldn't hold this up as like any kind of classic or anything like that.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you. I feel like it was missing something that the other Credible matches have had. Like I feel like this was the worst he's looked, but it's also like his biggest win. So it's kind of like, you know, a little of both ends. But yeah, I thought it was a little bit sloppy at the beginning, and it was just, I don't know, it was just missing something for me.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, I thought it was good enough. I went 3 stars on it too, like you did. But yeah, I don't know. And I mean, obviously it's a huge win for Credible. He's here now, he's made. So obviously his big push is coming. It's a big win. But I don't know. Like, I've liked some of his other matches we've seen out of him more than this one for me. So yeah, I went 3 stars on it, Jenny.
See, y'all think he's just not that great Sasuke? I mean, I don't know.
I think he's good.
Sounds like-
I just think he hasn't just showed it.
Good Sasuke.
Meh, Sasuke.
He hasn't been breaking up.
So, what y'all thought was boring, I thought was pretty engrossing. Like, they're grappling on the mat in the beginning part of the match because he kept bridging out. It was impressive and interesting looking, and he kept trying all these weird looking holds on Justin, which was funny because Justin kept looking very pained and also confused about what he was supposed to be like twisting into. So I kind of got into that part of the match, but obviously a lot more entertaining once they start flying around and
right.
When the just an asshole chants start, which is fun. I like the sunset flip, and I thought the dive was really sick onto the railing, and the corkscrew tombstone pile driver. Is that what he calls it? For the win. It was kind of a banger for me, so I did 3.5.
More like great snooze, Kay.
My God.
All right, best match of the night to me was Douglas Bigelow. I mean,
yeah.
Yep. I mean, yes.
Yep. Worst match, I had Mikey Sabu, but again, I mean, the worst match floor is 2 3/4 for me.
Right.
So still pretty good.
Oh, worst match at 3 stars. Wow. Like, but
right.
Yeah. I mean, I think I would go Credible Sasuke there.
As the worst,
yeah.
Best moment was Bigelow, obviously winning the world title.
Yep.
Fuck. Yep. I don't know. It might have been when Rick Rude showed up with that fucking did things to me.
Most 90s was Justin Credible's Hot Topic shirt. Don't piss me off. They're like the scratch letters like across the black shirt.
Yep.
Love it.
He definitely got that at the mall on the way over. Steamtown Mall in Strand. Stock Rising, I went with Queens. Like, the crowd is awesome.
Yep.
I like it.
Bigelow, Sabu, and Incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stock falling, I went with the triple threat. That seems to be, again, for the second time in 1997, kaput. And Sasuke.
I would put Rude on. Did you say
Rising or
Rude
falling?
on
I didn't say
Rising?
Rude on either.
Okay, I would say Rude on Rising.
You were Rising with Rude.
That too, but they've turned like a nothing job into like this whole
Right.
diabolical scheme.
Mhm.
And he's doing it perfectly. Like, I don't know, like this isn't talked about enough, in my opinion.
Right. So final grade, a great episode. You know, I was a little down on those other two matches, so it pulled it down a little bit for me from being like an all-time ECW episode. But it's a super memorable one. A lot of stuff happened, so I went 7.5 out of 10.
Oof.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. 7.5. Great episode.
I'm gonna do the 8.
Yeah, I think if the Mikey match was a little better and Sasuke was like a little better, it's like it's up there with our top episodes that we've done.
It's gotta
like
be.
8.5 and up. But all right, November 1st, we get highlights of the triple threat. It's very busy 1997, ending with Rick Rude costing Douglas his ECW title to Bigelow last week. It's set to November Rain, and we end with a graphic for November to November 97, and we find out that the main event in Pittsburgh will see Shane Douglas challenging Bam Bam Bigelow to get his ECW world title back. So big announcement
Hot
there.
damn.
We get our opening animation. Joey's in the nest. He says, all Rick Rude wanted was Francine, no money or anything else. And Shane handed her right to him. And there's no honor with thieves, pimps, or whores. So Joey's pretty direct here at that. So Rude screwed Douglas because he just wanted to prove he could, just wanted a shot of Francine, and he did all. And Rude is pretty honest about it, right? From when he debuted in January, he wanted to screw Douglas and screw Francine, right? So he got to bang her, and he got to take Douglas's title away.
I'd say mission accomplished.
The only thing that he did that was surprising was turn on ECW. I mean, everything else he's
right.
Yeah,
It
in
was-
hindsight.
But again, it was for the payday, right? I mean, I think he was
Right.
pretty clear all along, like he was a gun for hire. So
Mhm.
that's it. And Tommy the Mark ain't paying up like Waller and Cornette were. So. All right, to the ring we go. It's our big tag team title match. The Gangstanators taking on the full-blooded Italians. The FBI dance out, flag waving, Smothers sucking his fingers. Joey wants to know what the fuck that was, basically, because he does like the thumb, and then he's like, I don't know what that is. It's not like an
I
Italian.
I think it
dance.
was
I don't know
like
what he's doing.
marinara sauce or
I'm
something.
not sure
It
he
was
knows what
like,
he's doing.
I think he's meant to be doing this, but he's like like goofing on purpose. So he doesn't know what the hell he's doing because
Yeah.
I don't know that guy. Like because Guido's always
genius,
doing
either
that.
way.
So
Yeah.
Yeah, Joey's like, what was that? Match of their lives for the FBI. They upset Rotten Balls. Joey's laughing about everything. The Gangstanators come out to Natural Born Killers, weapons in tow. The champions attack right away. They're mauling the FBI with all weapons. Smothers is bleeding, I think, within seconds. Jack even uses a prosthetic leg to smash him in the head.
Love that.
Smothers
spot.
is bumping like a madman, just aggressive violence. Cronus even takes out a violin. He plays it and hits Guido with it. He's bleeding too. New Jack whites out the ref. The chaos rolls on. The FBI getting completely mollywomped, bludgeoned. Tommy Rich makes a mistake. Tommy Rich gets a mistake. He gets on the apron. New Jack suplexes him. He gets waxed. A secondary ref gets leveled by a guitar. In come the Dudleys. They attack the champions. Jeff Jones is in there as a third referee. The Dudleys did a 3D on Cronus, and they put Guido on top for the win. We have shocking new tag team champions. La Fungal. Tommy Rich kisses Dick and celebrates as Balls and Axel come out. Yes, I'll repeat that. Tommy Rich kisses Dick and celebrates as Balls and Axel come out and start attacking the Dudleys. Just a vicious, bloody beatdown. FBI were completely over their heads, and they knew it the whole time. But it was fun. I thought they kept it tight enough. The crowd was rocking. The finish was shocking with another big upset title change 2 weeks in a row, driven by the Dudleys and this crooked ref. FBI, I thought, earned it. Like, they got their shit kicked so hard that they almost deserved to win that match.
I'm sorry, that's not how it works.
Yes, it is. They took such a beating. They deserve to get rewarded. Cronus and New Jack, I thought they're fun as a team. They should stick together, the Gangstanators. I think they work pretty well. The tag division's heating back up a little bit now. So I went 2 1/4, Jenny. Like, I'm all in on the FBI as champion. Give it to me. Let's go.
Okay, so you know how Taz legitimizes the TV title, Shane legitimizes his title. I pray that they never try to legitimize this title because I think this is just a garbage one.
Yeah, bounce it around. We don't need like a year-long tag. I know I said it a few minutes ago, like when are the Dudleys become, but this is
Yeah.
fun where it's like anyone can kind of win at
Right.
any moment. All the teams hate each other. We get a lot of upsets and different wins. I'm with you. Like I don't think we need a dominant tag team title run.
And we'll see in a later tag team in this set of episodes, I think. But it feels like they can throw together a tag team
Mhm.
that's not in the title, in the picture for the
Right.
title, and those are like legit tag team matches. And this for the title is trash matches.
Mhm.
So I really like that. It's different and weird. This match was insane. Smothers was great. Like I'm not gonna lie, I gave you shit, but yeah, they deserve those belts just for all the extreme bumping that they did, as opposed to extreme wrestling. So, and Cronus and New Jack are just, I don't even think they like talk to each other. Like
I don't know if they even know who each other
they
are
don't
really.
hang out. They're not in the back together. They
Right.
just
No.
show up at the matches
Yeah.
together and
Yep.
just ball out, which is fine too. So all of this is just crazy chaos, and I did 2.5 stars, Matt.
I went 2.5 on it too, and honestly, I almost went higher solely for Smothers bumping around the ring like a fucking insane person. My God, FBI was a gigantic mess about 20 seconds into this match, and I mean they just beat the bag out of him for
Mhm.
8-10 minutes, however long it was. The violin shot was great. The shot with the prosthetic leg was great. I think they might have stolen those weapons from a street musician with one leg. I mean, that's kind of the narrative I've put together in my own head. That
New Jack totally just robbed that guy.
yeah, that's
Took
what I
his
think.
leg and his fiddle.
Someone just trying to make a buck outside the arena, and he said, "Give me that. Give me the violin. I need it for a match tonight."
All right, we go right back to the ring. I mean, we're right in the ring for our next match. That's Rotten Balls taking on the Dudleys. Dudley's Axel Balls to stick around after the brawl. Everyone else clears out. They're all fighting with strikes. Joey does not like Jeff Jones as the referee in this one. Bubba smashes Balls with a chair. We see a bloody FBI celebrating at ringside as the weapons are flying. All weapons and strikes. All four guys battling in the ring. FBI head down the aisle. New Jack and Cronus meet them. They all brawl back to the ring. We get a big war with everyone again. The crowd is rocking. Axel gets ripped open as Devon jabs a rod into his skull. The FBI, New Jack, and Cronus fight to the back. We reset. Devon works over Axel in the ring. Bubba and Bloody Balls battle on the floor. Axel gets a clothesline, but Jones doesn't count. And Dick comes in and chokeslams Axel, and Devon covers, but John Finnegan breaks up the count. He gets into it with Jeff Jones. They have a cat fight. Devon grabs Finnegan, and Axel blasts him with a chair, hits a DDT, and pick up the win for Rotten Balls. Pretty fun brawl, just pure chaos as usual. You have to wonder, like, do we need another bogus ref? I know we said this last time. We just had Fonzie. Now we got Jeff Jones. We had Gertner, like, that was kind of doing similar stuff. I guess. I mean, the crowd doesn't seem to give a shit. So, big win for Balls and Axel. The Dudley scuffle some more, Jenny. So I went 2 stars. I don't know. You all right with another crooked ref angle?
Yeah, that I had a note about. Well, why are we giving all the refs all this fucking time? Like, this is weird. I don't know. Were other promotions doing like ref based bullshit at this time? I don't know. Is it like a play on anything?
Well, I think the Nick Patrick stuff I think was going on at this point, wasn't it?
That's
with the
what I was
NWO?
thinking
I guess
about.
I was still going. And then,
Yeah.
I mean, I guess you had Montreal had happened, but I think this was taped before that. No, actually, it's before Montreal still.
Yeah, it's like a week before. So
yeah,
It was just weird. Fists and feet flying everywhere. I thought that was a great line.
It's like a Sean Kidd dream match.
Right. 2 stars, Matt.
yeah, I went 2 stars on it. It was a fairly standard brawl, just complete and utter chaos. I mean, look, we're talking about the ref fighting. Maybe we're the assholes because the crowd fucking loved it. So
yeah, I mean, right, exactly. I mean,
Always
maybe
maybe we're the problem, but yeah,
you're definitely the problem.
Well,
so
I know that, but
Matt
I meant
Taylor
you guys.
Swift.
I know I'm a problem, but
Yeah.
yeah, 2 stars for me. Not
You're
much.
an anti-hero. All right, Joey's in the nest. He hypes up November. Remember, recaps all of our new champions as Taz defends against Rob Van Dam here tonight. And next week, Tommy Dreamer wrestles despite recovering from broken bones in his foot and a bruised heel. Dreamer returned to ECW in style in Queens last week. We get highlights where Dreamer and Spike Dudley were in the ring, and Tommy DDT's the ring announcer running his mouth. So it's kind of random. I think he was pretty fucked up his foot, so I think they just did that to.
Yeah.
kind of
Give him something.
let the crowd get to see Tommy. All right. Next match, Chris Candido and Lance Storm taking on Doug Furnace and Phil LaFawn. Good to see Furnace and LaFawn sticking around. Nice addition to help the roster solidify the tag division. Candido heads to the ring. Joey says Bigelow is supposed to be his partner, but that's no longer an option. After a break, Lance Storm is heading out to team with Candido. Joey thinks Storm is a triple threat prospect. We get highlights of Candido versus Storm from a few weeks back. Joey says Candido's significant other pushed him to scout Storm because she likes how he fills out his tights. I like how they basically use Sonny as like a whore gimmick, even though she's not involved with the company. LaFawn and Storm start off with standing switches and mat work. They trade holds. Candido tags in. We get a chop war with LaFawn, and Candido even struts, but LaFawn lights him up, does a flare flop. It's a pretty great spot. Furnace tags in, uses his power to knock Candido around. Candido recovers with a side headlock. Furnace pushes through, hits a great drop kick for 2. LaFawn gets tags in, but he gets shoved to the corner. Candido and Storm double up. Storm comes in and cranks a chin lock to counter a throw. LaFawn comes back with a German, tags Furnace, who hammers away. Storm lands a kick and tags Candido. They double up and quick tag through some offense. Furnace and LaFawn end up outside. Candido and Storm hit stereo pescados. Candido starts to bicker with Storm a bit about how he's not the triple threat, and that allows Furnace and LaFawn to attack from behind. Furnace and LaFawn hit wild, massive double drop backdrops on both. LaFawn gets a surfboard on Storm. Joey puts over Furnace and LaFawn as old school journeymen who get overlooked because they don't talk. LaFawn gets a camel clutch and goes for a senton for 2. Candido tries to help but misses and bails to the floor. LaFawn hits a savate kick and chops away, hits a snap suplex. Furnace tags in, he slams Storm and drops a leg for 2. Furnace and LaFawn keep Candido at bay as they continue to batter the back. Storm tries to escape. We get a double clothesline. Candido gets the tag, comes in hot on LaFawn, whacks him with a clothesline, sets him up top, but Furnace saves. Candido kicks Furnace off, gets on the top rope Rana on LaFawn, knocks Furnace off the apron through a table at ringside. Candido goes up top, but LaFawn blocks him, loads up a superplex, but Storm saves. Candido tries a blonde bombshell. LaFawn makes the block, knocks him down, hits a spinning leg drop that was a little bit botched. Candido slips out of a slam, but LaFawn hits a tiger bomb. For 2, Storm saves. Candido hits a suplex, tags Storm, but LaFawn kicks him and springboards in. Furnace tags, but Storm meets him with a spin kick. Furnace recovers with a Frankensteiner for 2, pops up Candido with a release belly to belly, sends Storm flying with a release German. All 4 guys end up in the ring. We get a smooth finish where Furnace is powerbombing Storm as LaFawn ducks a Candido and Zaguri that connects with Furnace, and Storm falls on top of him for the win. That is how you do a finish that is clean and protects everyone. It's just a miscue, catches him at the last minute. Storm shakes hands with Furnace and LaFawn, and Candido follows suit. Candido then shakes Storm's hand, and they hug as Joey wonders if Storm is triple threat bound. Pretty great tag match, I thought. It had nonstop action. The flow was really good. There was no bullshit or nonsense. There's 4 great workers. I love Candido because he does all this goofy, coked up gimmick shit, but then he gets in the ring and just has these bangers, shakes hands out of respect, and leaves. Like when he's in the ring, he's no gimmicks, right? That's the thing. It's no fluff, no bullshit. He's just in there working. Candido's been gold. Storm is making a name for himself. I hope Furnace and LaFawn stick around. Like they add a lot to this promotion. Just putting on, if they're not around every taping, if they're in and out every couple of months, it would be like a good balance of the division. So Matt, I like this a lot. I went 3 3/4.
Yeah, I'm a little bit lower than you. I went 3.5 on it. It just really well done. A great match. Good God, Lance Storm needs to do something with that hair. I have to say it again. Just get rid of that fucking rat tail. It's the worst. Furnace and LaFawn just don't stop moving. I mean, they're just working their asses off this entire match. And I mean, the pace, like you said, was ridiculous. Just great double team moves to Lance Storm and to Candido. Just everything looked really well done. LaFawn at one point killed Candido with that fucked up senton off the top rope. That looked real rough for Candido. That was really bad. I mean, save for that botch, I thought the rest of the match was pretty much flawless, and I love the finish. I thought the finish was really well done. Keeps everybody strong, so I really like that. Yeah, just a great match here. 3.5 for me, Jenny.
Furnace and LaFawn is, the names are just bad. Like
That's their names.
I hate it. I hate it so much. I don't want to. They need gimmick names. I mean, like, when I say messy, I don't mean. Well, I just feel like it wasn't super crisp, but like in a good way. Like in a way that feels spontaneous and real instead of, dumb. But like Candido has that awesome fire, and Lance, I think, matches him in that. And they look sort of the same. They have, the same build. They're kind of the same guy. I don't know how Lance Storm is. I don't know if he's on cocaine like Candido or not, but
Probably not.
probably
No.
not.
We have Chris Candido and Clean Candido, according to you.
Okay. So I mean, I could see him becoming a member of Triple Threat in the future. But
they need like a big guy though. I feel like like you're saying it. He's almost redundant.
Yeah, the
with
two
Candido and
same.
Triple Threat.
Mhm.
You need like because we've got Lee and then Bigelow. So
yeah, that's true. That's a good point. The F boys. Can I call them that?
Call him whatever you want.
whatever you need to do.
Yeah.
I just
Only if it's like BOIS.
Who are we to judge?
Yeah,
I'm not
they're
going to
the
judge.
The
F
applause.
boys. That's their new name. I really like watching them wrestle. They are fun. They're talented. They can do like everything. They're really good at it. And they just fly, like Matt said. They keep going. A fucking banger of a match. 3 3/4 stars.
All right, cool little gem in there.
Mm-hmm.
Back to the ring we go. Raw Van Dam taking on Taz. This one's been brewing for a while. Can RVD stop Taz? We'll see. Fonzie's in as well. RVD flies in with a big spin kick to Taz as the ref is checking his boots, which is well done. Taz is rattled. RVD smothers him with punches. He's slumped to the corner. RVD puts Taz's belt on his face and drop kicks him. Hot start. RVD tries to split-legged move, but Taz kicks him in the nuts, spikes him to the mat, then murders him with a Tiger German. RVD lands right on his head. RVD bails out. Taz follows and slings him back in. Taz hammers away, catches RVD on a springboard, and then wrecks him with a hard lariat. RVD bails out again to talk to Fonzie, who says Taz is built like an animal. RVD shoots Taz into the railing. He hits a jumping side kick off of it, jabs at Taz and shoots him to the steel again, slings him back inside as a springboard leg drop. RVD hits a double underhook Falcon Arrow, drops a leg for 2 with a lazy cover. RVD keeps battering Taz. He crotches him on the top rope and knocks him off with a springboard kick. RVD keeps kicking away, directs Fonzie to throw him a chair. Joey says Fonzie's the purveyor of strip clubs and brothels across the country. RVD puts a chair on Taz, hits a split-legged moonsault, but he's too banged up. Taz comes firing back, but RVD hits a spin kick, slams Taz, heads up top. It hits a wonderful frog splash for 2. RVD hammers away, but Taz drops a leapfrog and dodges the leapfrog and hits a release German, and RVD lands on his face. Sabu comes in. Taz chucks him to the floor. Dreamer's out. He fights off Sabu as RVD buries a big kick to the face on Taz in the ring. Beulah stalks Taz. Beulah stalks Fonzie. RVD grabs her by the hair, but Taz makes a save and hits a disgusting head and arm Tazplex on RVD. In comes Lance Wright with a neck brace. The Pitbulls are behind him, decked out in sweet white suits. Taz is aggravated to see them as they strut our ringside smoking cigars. The Pitbulls get in the ring as we get the bell to end the match. So we'll stop there for a minute. We'll talk about the post-match in a minute. The match was great. I mean, RVD is awesome. Taz was really good too. The crowd was rocking. The BS finish is fine because it's more story stuff building to November to Remember. RVD's offense is so on point and has a big vibe to every match he's in. Just layer it on top of Taz's style and big match feel, and it clicked. And we haven't been super high on like the big Taz matches as much, but I thought this one really, really worked well. So Jenny went 3.5. This was another really good match tonight.
I did 3 3/4. Taz, shocking to me in this match. Like you said, not been really big on his longer style matches, but damn if he didn't shut me the fuck up in this match. He was hanging in there. He really was. I kept waiting for him to sort of lose it, but in the way that I've seen him do it before, nope. He was in it all the way. But RVD was fucking great in this. Just all casual attitude and devastating moves. Like effortlessly. It's amazing and wonderful, Matt.
Well, I went 3 stars on it, but I'm going to tell you why. I went lower because I included the post-match stuff in my rating. But as far as the match goes, I thought the match was pretty well done. I think we've seen better out of Taz RVD. I think I went 4 stars on one of them. But I do think this was a pretty solid match. I feel like RVD, he looked very unkempt in this match. Like he had like a 5 o'clock shadow going. And even his gear was a little lacking. Like it almost looked like he just came in from like a 24-hour 24-hour bender with Fonzie or something. Maybe he was hanging out at the brothels with Fonzie or something. But yeah, I thought the match was decent enough. And I don't know, like I said, for me, it was the post match that really dragged the match down, which we'll get
Really?
into.
Okay.
Yeah. I'll get into it.
All right.
Okay.
So the Pitbulls attack. Taz fights him off, but Pitbull 2 hits him with a clothesline. RVD wants a high five, but Pitbull 2 for Pitbull 2, but he gets left hanging. The Pitbulls batter Taz some more. RVD hits a Van Daminator. Joey notices that Lance Wright's mom, Stanford attorneys, are at ringside. Wright gets in the ring with the lawyers, and RVD says that Vince McMahon told him that Taz is just a paper champion, and he's going to show Taz what he stands for. Fonzie has the WWF banner, and RVD says this is now the WWF arena, and everyone here is a WWF fan, and every belt is a WWF belt, and Taz, well, he's the WWF television champion. Taz pops up. He takes out both lawyers with Germans. Bigelow comes out and stands tall with Taz to loud ECW chants. Taz tells Bigelow he's confused and that Taz is the only real champion here, and he doesn't need help from no one. And next time Bigelow gets involved, they'll see who the real champion is. They have a stare down and pull apart to wrap things up. I thought this was amazing heat. I mean, the crowd was super into this. RVD's been great in this angle. It all makes sense to me. It's good use of the Pitbulls as the dumb muscle for Wright. And now Bigelow's on his own, and he's lining up an issue with Taz potentially for the future. So I like this. I thought it was pretty good, Matt. So what's your beef?
So
Is it just Lance Wright?
well, no, that's part of it. I'm not gonna lie, that's part of it. But and maybe this is completely unfair on my part, but I feel like the WWF ECW thing, I'm kind of down on it. So really since the Lawler stuff, like I don't know, it just feels like it's missing the juice that it had when Lawler was around, just with everybody just shitting.
You think it's cheap heat? Do you feel like they're just using clinging to it because it's like it's not lazy, but it's like they know it's going to be a guaranteed heat?
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm feeling. Like, just keep Jerry Lawler around. Then I'd rather see Lawler do it than other guys.
I feel like maybe they want RVD and Sabu to be heels still, and they know they're going to get over without it. Probably they'll be. It's probably hard to keep them heels without it because they're so cool.
Right. So yeah, I mean, I like the Bam Bam stuff. I think Bam Bam and Taz will be super fun. But for me, I don't know. It just feels like it's been a real down. And maybe it's unfair, but I just think since Lawler left, it's kind of been on a downward trend for me. But I don't know. Maybe it's just me.
Well, y'all know, I was like, y'all know that I was like, I wanting them to get away from doing the us and them kind of bullshit and just stay in our own lane. But I don't know. There's something about, I don't know. I guess I just got used to it. I just decided this is what we're doing. So just get on board with it. The paper champion stuff is, I don't know. It's a little weak for me, but
see, I don't mind the WWF stuff. I'm not as into them using Vince as a prop thing, like because it's super unbelievable. Like there's no way Vince is working with Lance Wright and the Pitbull. I mean, it's just stupid. Like, I don't mind. Like, if you're telling me RVD is such a hot commodity that he's trying to impress the WWF and doing shit on their behalf, that works. But like to think that the WWF cares about ECW in any way,
right?
Like without Laura there, like it's to your point, Matt. It's kind of silly, but I don't know. I don't mind it as much, but I can see why like the luster is not there. Unless you're saying Wright is just like delusional, which is fine too. But they haven't really said that. They're making it like he really is working on behalf of Vince, which is
Vince has no idea who Lance Wright is.
Well, he did. Exactly, he worked there. But yeah, maybe he doesn't. But
he
doesn't know he's talking about him. I'll put it that way.
Right.
Well, what did you guys think about the white suits on the Pitbulls, though?
I thought they looked pretty pimp.
It's a look.
I liked it.
DiBiase.
It's pretty good. Maybe.
All right. Best match was the tag.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, the Furnace Lafon one.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
The worst match was Rotten Balls and the Dudleys.
Yep.
Yeah.
Best moment, I had a tie between the FBI celebration, like bleeding out at ringside while the match was going on, and Bigelow Taz showdown at the end. I thought it was cool.
I got to go with FBI.
I did too.
All right, most 90s. We didn't talk about this during the episode, but New Jack had a shirt. I don't know if he has had this one before, but it had all deceased rappers on it. Did you notice that?
Yeah,
I did notice that.
It was like Tupac, Biggie. I'm trying to think of who else was on there. It was Eazy-E, maybe. Like
he was on there, yeah.
Yeah, there was like 3 or 4 on there. I thought it was kind of cool. All right, Stock Rising, FBI, Rotten Balls, Storm, RVD, and Taz for me.
Yeah, that seems right.
Yeah.
All right, Stock Falling. I just had the Gangstonators and the Dudleys kind of had rough nights.
Yeah.
Final grade. I actually like this better than the last episode. Even with the title change in the last one, I liked all the matches on this one. It was consistently just hot match after hot match. We had a couple of really cool segments. So this is the one I ended up going 8.5 out of 10 on.
Wow.
8.5.
It was a banger. Like it just, I love that tag match. I like the FBI winning the tag titles. I thought that was great. I like the post match of the main event. So I thought it was a great episode. Like I don't know what. Maybe I was lower on the other one than I should have been, but this one, I loved this episode. I thought it was great.
All right, I'll do the 8.
I'll go 7.5.
Look at Maddie.
Can't take me anywhere.
No.
Nope.
All right, let's get to our last episode of TV here. We'll wrap things up. It is November 8th, 1997. Opening animation Sister Francine kind of being sexy, talking about getting turned on. Joey's in the ring in the ECW arena, but he's cut off by Lance Wright in the nest. And he says he has a scoop that Joey wasn't qualified enough to get. He's with the man that changed the title direction of ECW and had the most impact in the sport today, ravishing Rick Rude. Rude says Joey makes things seem easy, like Rude sold his soul for a piece of pooch, but he's had more booty than the toilets at Madison Square Garden, and only wanted her because she belonged to Douglas. We should remember his New Year's resolution was to fuck with the franchise. Bigelow's career is bogged down by cooperation, and Rude's career thrives on manipulation. He manipulated Bigelow to come to the ring and become champion, and have Ted Turner eating out of your hand, Vince McMahon begging you to come do Monday Night Live. That is what manipulation is all about. Douglas needs to be worried about anticipation. The only thing worse than getting your ass kicked is waiting for it to happen, and it'll happen again on November 30th. So, Matt, that was a good way to start the show. It's Rude kind of laying out his goals, right, and his thoughts. It's that he's always been a master manipulator, and has got him to this great position of power. He got to bang Shane's girl, screwed him out of the title. Is Vince eating out of his hand? Turner's begging for him. And it's been the year of the ravishing one in 97.
Yeah, Rude was awesome here. He explained that, since he came in, this was his goal. His goal's been accomplished. I thought he was really good here. The line where he says he's had more booty than the seats at Madison Square Garden was fantastic. He manipulated Bam Bam. The only thing worse than getting your ass kicked is waiting for it to happen. I thought Rude was on fire here. And it shows that since the beginning, he had one goal. And he accomplished that goal. So we'll see what happens next. Is he going to stick around, or is he going to, finally be done? Because, I got to be honest, I thought by now he was gone already. I didn't think he stuck around this long. So I'm curious if maybe this is the end, or if the end's coming sooner rather than later. But God damn it, why does Lance Wright have to be here? But yes,
I like,
other than that, it was very good.
I like Rude saying too that Bigelow's career has always been about cooperation, because it's true, right? Like he agreed to lay down to Lawrence Taylor. He agreed to do the job to this one. He agreed to go. He has been always just kind of the guy that, Bigelow do this, Bigelow do that, instead of standing up for himself. Same thing with the Click, right? He let the Click kind of bully him out of the WWF. So I thought it was a poignant point for Rude to make.
And looks really good, making all those points in this promo. Intense. And it's just a little off-putting because they still have a silly music underneath, and he's cutting this promo, and it's fairly, badass. So the music kind of took me out a little bit. Just let the man talk.
Yeah.
Cut the music is what I'm saying. But this was good shit, and I feel like it probably is getting close to the end, but I don't want it to be the end, Matt.
All right. Shane and Francine head to the ring. They're not looking happy tonight. Francine grabs the mic, says she doesn't need the cheers to clap for someone who gives a shit. She'd rather eat dog shit than show the fans her body. She says Shane is very pissed off, and it is no surprise at all. And everyone should shut up and listen to him speak. Shane takes the mic. He says, no wonder Philly has such a high divorce rate, since people won't shut the fuck up when a woman's talking. 3 weeks ago, the fans were trying to suck his dick when he put Terry Funk out to pasture. He didn't need it then. He doesn't need it now, and he is pissed off. He's taken a lot of good-natured ribbing. He listens to all the jokes about his body parts, and they are wrong, because he's at least 12 inches, and Francine verifies. He's pissed at the turncoat and that since Thursday night, his bag has been light. He can't eat, he can't train, he can't thrust his 12 inches into his lady because he can't even get it hard. He says it's only temporary because he'll be back to form and rocking all night long. There's one thing that makes him feel good about what happened, and they show Rude's true colors. And Queens get to see a title change, and it wasn't Philly they got to see him lose. So F the fans here. Joey wraps us up. This is quite the clapback, Jenny, from Shane.
God, remember when I hated him? What a fucking idiot. He was amazing. They are a fucking mood. She's like in this animal print 2-piece thing. Like, it is just so well done. Shane just perfect. Talking about not getting it up, the crowd just eating that shit up. This was just one of the best things I've seen him do. Like, legit. I loved this shit.
Yeah, just everything about this was fantastic. Francine saying she'd rather eat dog shit than show the crowd the goods. Just everything about this was fantastic. Shane very angry. Now he's impotent because he doesn't have the damn title. Good God. God.
I love it. It's so smart just because he always talked about, my dick can hold up 16 pounds of gold.
Right, when Rude always says you get the small penis and all that.
So. Right, yeah. So, it's great shit. He just admits it. He just stands in the ring and says, I can't get my 12-inch cock up anymore. And I'm just dying.
That's a thing you say in front of 2,000 people and people watching at home. I mean,
only Shane can say that shit. I don't know.
Yeah, just super great.
All right. We get a legendary three-way dance here next. Sabu, Shane Douglas, and Tommy Dreamer are going at it in a three-way dance. Fonzie and Sabu have arrived. Fonzie is ranting about hitting ECW and the fans. Dreamer ambles out. He's got his walking boot on. He's with Beulah. We settle in some big, long intros. We start with a pair of three-way lockups and clean breaks. We get some quick flurries of three-way spots, all three trade control, some really creative stuff. Shane and Tommy double up on Sabu. He flips free, takes both men over. Sabu and Shane now work together and stomp away at Tommy, who's struggling with his foot. Joey says Tommy had to sign a waiver to compete. Didn't make a big deal about it on TV. And that is stone cold. It's a shot at cost at Austin, who had the busted neck, and they did a big dog and pony show about him signing the waiver to fight Owen Hart at Survivor Series. Shane and Sabu continue to choke and stomp away. Shane gets knocked outside. Sabu meets him with a top rope body block. Sabu posts Shane. He swats away at Shane and Tommy with a chair. Sabu hits both baseballs with a baseball slide. He snaps the arm of Shane, targets the shoulder. Sabu drops a leg on Tommy. He's in full control. Works Shane's arm, but Shane deadlifts Sabu and holds him as Tommy comes in. Takes them both down with a Russian leg sweep. A lot of cool three-way spots all through this. Shane powers up as a neck snap on Sabu, but Tommy drop kicks him in the back of the head, and Shane falls onto a chair. Fonzie's bitching about Tommy's boot as Sabu comes off the top of the chair, but Tommy gets the boot up. Tommy uses the chair for a jawbreaker on Shane. Shane drops Tommy on the chair with a shin breaker. All three guys are banged up as they slow the pace. Sabu beats on Shane's head on the floor, and then they hoist a table on the apron, but Tommy drop kicks it into them. Tommy drags the table into the ring and crotches Sabu on the top rope. Sabu reaches down and grabs a chair, but Tommy grabs it first and pelts him with it. Shane goes low on Tommy, puts him on the table, and superplexes Sabu through Tommy in a great spot. Shane tells Fonzie to go the fuck away as he smashes Sabu with a piece of busted table. Sabu comes back with a middle rope leg drop on Tommy for 2. Shane grabs Sabu. They hit a double team powerbomb neck breaker combo. Shane gets 2 as Tommy breaks it up. Tommy and Shane continue to beat on Sabu. They even shake hands as they hit the ropes. Fonzie trips them both up. Beulah and Fran come over and smack him around, shove him into the ring and kick the shit out of him. And then they have a cat fight to a big pop. Fun moment. Fonzie grabs them both by the hair and smacks them together, but they shove him down and stand tall. Shane then grabs Beulah. Tommy grabs Fran, and they hit pile drivers at the same time. Sabu flies into them with springboard clothesline to a pop. Sabu hits a triple jump moonsault on Shane, but Tommy makes a save and DDTs Shane. Sabu saves an Arabian facebuster. Shane decides to leave, and he walks off. But Bam Bam Bigelow shows up and drives him back to the ring. Tommy hits a belly-to-belly for 2. Sabu hits an Arabian facebuster on Shane, and he and Tommy could cover to eliminate the franchise, so his night is done. Sabu takes out Tommy's leg. We see Beulah getting carried out. Sabu knocks Tommy outside, tosses him into the fans. It's a triple jump dive into a chair, into Tommy in the crowd. Fonzie's holding a towel on his head as he says he's dizzy. Sabu pushes Tommy back inside. He follows with Arabian press for 2. Sabu hits a springboard Rana for 2. He chucks a chair in Tommy's face, chops away and tries a springboard leap, but Dreamer meets him with a flying clothesline. Tommy hits an Arabian facebuster for 2 and follows with a DVD, grabs a table, sets it up, and DDT Sabu off the top rope through the table to a pop. Fonzie comes in, though. He hits Tommy in the heel with a chair. He crawls over to Sabu, who pops up and hits Arabian facebuster and a top rope leg drop. Then it's a triple jump moonsault and puts Tommy away to win this match. A great match with ECW legends. Just a war. There was a lot of innovative offense. The crowd was hot. Some big time spots. Sabu's been dominant lately. Tommy's gutty as always, and Shane is Shane. Get some extra heat for November Remember mixed in here with Bigelow. So Jenny, I thought the match delivered. I went 3.5. I wouldn't call it an all-time classic, but it was really, really good.
You know, I had to do the 4 because of all the, like you called out, the creative 3-man spots. Like, they mixed up all the combinations, did a lot of cool things that we don't really get to see a lot. I really loved the added layer of the girls coming in to fuck with Fonzie a little bit, and then double pile drivers on their asses. Pretty brutal. And Shane trying to run away. Nice touch before he gets eliminated. I like them carrying Beulah and Fran out after the pile drivers. It just kind of kept going on and on. So many layers to it. But for me, the spot of the match is fucking Fonzie coming in to crack that chair on Tommy's heel that's fucked up. And his face, Tommy's face was just like, oh my God. Like, I thought his foot was going to fall off.
Yeah, he was in pain.
Yeah.
Tommy and his body parts. I don't know that he has anything left to give. From his penis to his heel, the man has been decimated in many, many ways. He, bless his heart, he tries to walk out even. But that's Tommy. He's hardcore. This match is hardcore, and I did 4 stars.
I think Dreamer's just a human callous at this point. He doesn't feel anything, and he just lets everything happen. But yeah, this was great stuff. I went 3.5 on it. Just the innovative offense from everybody, like you guys have said. Just everything was really well done. The pace I thought was great, and this is a long match too. You're talking like 20, 25 minutes, and they just kept things moving the entire time. They didn't really slow down or anything like that. So I just thought everything was really well done. The double pile drivers to Fonzie and Beulah were brutal. Just a wild sequence there. Kind of surprised that Shane didn't win, but I do like how they went about eliminating him with Bam Bam coming out, throwing him back in the ring basically, and then the elimination. So I thought, even though he didn't win, I thought it was a smart way to eliminate him, to have him eat a pin. And the DDT by Dreamer off the top through a table was disgusting, and the foot manipulation on Dreamer was also really well done. I don't think he was selling. I think he really was just in that much pain from working this match. So yeah, great match here. So 3.5 for me.
All right, Tommy gets an ovation as he drags himself up and hobbles to the back. Shane and Francina back there. Shane says he's never aspired to be second best, even back to 1983. He was told he was too small, but he laughed and said to watch him. Same was when he was told he was a white meat mid-carder. And when he became a star, he told Hogan, Flair, and the others wouldn't step aside. So Shane challenged them, and they all dodged him. We then cut over to Bigelow, who says when you start ripping through and beating people, no one wants to do business with you. He has a family to support, and he couldn't support without cooperation. So he cooperated with Lawrence Taylor, with Kimo, with Katao, and others, but he's sick and tired of cooperating. We go back to Shane, talks about what he did to the NWA title in 1994. He chose the less traveled road of ECW, and that made all the difference in the sport. In the tournament, they said he was mad. Bigelow says he doesn't cooperate. He takes what he wants. Shane says about Queens, where Rude paraded Bigelow to the ring as his opponent, he was shocked a family member would stab him in the back. But Bigelow made himself and proved to the world he had what it took to be world champion, and he applauds it. Candido pops in. He says he and Bigelow come from the same town. They broke in together. And Bigelow always takes what he wants, but it bothered him that he took it from Candido and he took the belt from the Triple Threat. And that what good is the Triple Threat is good for him. Like the Von Erichs, Bruno and Flair, Dusty and Lawler did. When you come to Pittsburgh, gladiators will show what they have to offer. They could take the easy way, but Bigelow won't lay down and do the job. So he should have to come fully loaded and ready to fire. And Shane will overcome the 100-pound difference, strength and power at the biggest event in ECW history. One of them will leave as champion, and one leaves defeated. He thrives in adversity. He can be beaten and thrown around, but his heart of a champion will continue to beat, and Pittsburgh demands it, and his legacy demands that the belt come back home. If the franchise goes down, so does ECW, because they are tied together. He's come too far to let it go now. Bigelow should take care of that belt until November 30th, when he'll become champion again, and he'll be ECW champion for a third time. Bigelow says the belt is his. If Shane wants it, he's going to beat him, because he does no more jobs, no more favors, and no more cooperation. He's going to have to kick his ass and pin him. This is great. Shane's on fire. Bigelow kind of laid out what's been making him tick. Candido is kind of son in the middle of the two parents fighting. I thought this is just all really well done, Matt. It's great hype for November. Remember, I honestly thought they should have saved this for the go home.
Yeah.
Because this is like the last. Like we didn't really need much more after this. It's like laid out in front of us.
Mhm.
We still have a few more weeks of TV to get to November. Remember, but I thought this would have been like a great go home.
Yeah, this was really great stuff and kind of different style from what we usually see. Like this almost felt like a Pulp Fiction to me, like just kind of how it was shot and how they were going back and forth between everybody. I thought it was super well done, and I thought it was just the like the editing of everything. I guess was really well done. How they kept cutting back and forth, and then Candido's here in the middle, like you said, saying his thing. Yeah, I just think it's great hype for the pay-per-view. I made the same note that you just said. I almost feel like this should have been saved for the go home. It feels weird to do it like 3-4 weeks before.
3 weeks out, yeah. It's like
3 weeks out. Like, what else are we going to do after this? Unless they're going to beat the shit out of each other for 3 weeks. I don't know what else you do, but yeah, this was just great stuff, Jenny.
It really was. It took me a minute to realize, what they were doing, bouncing back and forth.
Right.
And also I noticed that Bigelow has green eyes because they were very close in with those camera angles. When Bigelow started talking, because we hadn't really heard much from Bigelow ever.
Mhm.
So when he was talking about I have a family to feed, that was like automatic. Like I kind of don't give a fuck about that. Like that doesn't really fit what we're doing here with you, Bigelow. So just talk the cooperation part. Now that's where he got me. I pulled on what Rude said and started using that as opposed to like I gotta feed my family because I don't give a shit about that. And then Candido just his wild energy is toned down a little bit, and he's a little bit maybe he's having some emotions that are not like a squirrel, and he has to like kind of like feel things and think about things, and so that's weird for him. But he was very, very good in that role. Sweet promos from all of them.
All right. Joey's in the nest. He hypes up November. Remember, he runs on the card and vows the FBI will lose their titles. The FBI come in, and Rich says, "A year ago, you said I couldn't beat Harley Gordon. Are you drinking again?" It's amazing. Thinks he's Gordon Soley. Rich hypes up his boys and says they want to make Joey a paisan. And he reads his lawyer's letter, but Joey refuses. They hassle him, and Joey reads it, and with them saying, "Hey," in between each statement. So it's like, "What's the matter, you? Hey, you got no respect. What do you think you're doing? Why you look so sad? It's not so bad. It's a nicer place." And they all hug Joey and they wrap up. The FBI has been on fire. Like I thought this was again tremendous stuff.
They're killing it. It's so good. It has no business
being
Gordon,
and I just lost it. He's like,
it has no
you
business.
Said I couldn't beat Holly a year ago, Gordon.
We go from the seriousness of the triple threat drama into this absolute nonsense. It's so beautiful. I love it so much. Just end the episode with them being like, "Oh, hey!"
Everything he's saying. It's like, "What's
ridiculous.
the matter, you? Hey, no respect. Hey, what do you think you're doing? Hey, why you look so sad? It's not so bad."
Smothers is like.
Yeah. All right, best match, Sabu, Dreamer, Douglas, the only match, but it was great.
Yep.
Best moment, I thought was Shane's promo as part of the triple threat stuff.
Yep.
Oh, yes.
Most 90s, I just want Rude, the free agent. This is the concept of Rude free agent.
Rude, yeah.
Stock Rising was everyone on the show. I had Douglas, Sabu, Dreamer, Bigelow, FBI.
Yeah,
all great.
Everybody.
And Final Grade, I didn't have any stock falling. And Final Grade, another great episode, 7.5 for me. Like, we had a great match, great promo, hype, and then we ended on a fun note. So, what do you guys got?
I'm gonna keep my 8.
Yeah, I went 8 on this one too.
Look, we had a great night of television. I mean, the first one was, that recap, but those next 3 were on fire. It might be the best 3 we've had in a row in a while. It almost makes you wonder, like, so next episode we got 3 more before November Remembers. Like, what are they going to do? Like, how are those going to hold up? Because if November to Remember was after this one, I think we'd be like on fire, ready to go. So I'm curious if they can keep that fire burning into the show. So we'll see how these next 3 weeks go. Check out everything at northsouthconnection.com. That'll list all the audio and video we have to offer, all of our podcasts every day. A lot of wrestling content. John, you got the Jenny Possession on Wednesdays, which is some of our more pop culture stuff. But some wrestling stuff's coming there as well. So just and also subscribe to YouTube, because we're gonna have YouTube only content mixed in too. That's not gonna be on the podcast feed. So just subscribe all around, follow us on social media, and continue to live your life extremely. I'll talk to you in 2 weeks.